Hey guys, welcome to Oz's Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the TempSpike Plus. I've been a huge fan of this company for a very long time, and now we have an upgraded temperature probe that works with a smart app, of course. Let's get into some cool specs while you take a look at it up nice and close. This is 600 feet of true wireless meat probing, phenomenal whatever, but super long range is the most important thing. And this is true. I went all through the house. I could not find a dead signal where this thing dropped, which is very impressive. Outside of a Wi-Fi system, having this a booster, this is a booster unit, so you got to put this thing within about a foot or so of your grill, but this will boost your signal from this to anywhere in your house. Walls, it don't matter. And look how beautiful this thing looks now. It's got a nice thin information in there that's going to come out to this booster. The probe has been increased. The sealability, sure, let's call it that, has been increased. And you want to stick this thing all the way in to just about right at that black where it starts. This black here, there's a seal right here, a little bump. It goes in past that. But this is increased. This is very small, I'll say that. And by comparison to all the other wireless temperature probes I have, this one, to me, is my absolute favorite. It's awesome. You get the feedback while you're charging. You get a Type-C port here, but you get your feedback from your probe, battery stat, and your booster. You can see this listed down here at the bottom. Here you got a selector switch, which is a three-way selector switch, which we'll get into in a little bit, but you see your Bluetooth signal blinking here. That tells you that you got Bluetooth connection going on. But let's get into some of the specs while we look at what's also included in the box. But they've done a great job of reducing and slimming this probe down about an inch and making it a little thinner as well. Some of the competition, which works great. It's got a ceramic handle at the top. That's that black piece. A temperature range of 14 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit. An internal temperature range is 14 degrees to 212 degrees Fahrenheit with the stainless steel probe. Here are some of the upgraded features over the other ones. Now I have the dual probe, which has a black and white tip, so you can use this on various types of meat. You know which probe is what. That was fantastic. I use it all the time. And this one is this is the best one I have, period. So I can't wait to the dual unit of this, like a white tip, black tip, white tip. So I hope I get to review that unit because I'm very excited about the possibilities of this. This is such an achievement. They should be very happy about this. Here you get a thinner, smaller meat probe, which is good because now I can fit this into tighter spaces in my grill. Before, I did have this big bulky head that would sometimes get too close and I'd have to finagle my meat around to allow it to fit in those tight spaces. But with this, I feel like having this such a small piece as well and a reduced probe length, that gives me more possibilities for meat to use this probe on some meat for slow cooking. This has upgraded the waterproofing on this to an IP67 waterproof. Upgraded techniques is what they say. Of course, with this one probe, you get two sensors. You get an internal meat probe sensor and an ambient temperature out here. And then what you can do with the ambient is monitor that smoking temp. That 225, that 250, whatever it is you want to get dialed in. I can tell you right now when I use this, this was incredibly calibrated and spot on. Because after I cooked, we'll get into that a little bit, but the internal ambient temperature, if I would have went off my grill, would have been a lot different than this. I couldn't believe the difference between ambient of what my probe that is built in to the grill lid itself on the top was giving me versus the ambient sitting down low by the meat. It was quite a bit of 50-60 degree offset. Why? So I relied on this and it was spot on. So keep that in mind too if you're trying to figure out what probe you want to get with this dual sensor in here with the internal and the ambient. That's important. Very cool thing about this booster unit here is that you do have a 3-function button down at the bottom. The first function will be to silence this unit. Once it reaches, your meat reaches the temperature that you've set in the app, this base station here will fire off a sound as well. You can press and hold for 3 seconds to pair the booster and the probe, or you can press and hold for 10 seconds to reset this booster if you need to do all that kind of stuff. So you got 3 functions in that little button. It's basically simple. You do get magnets on the back. You do get some rubber feet so it won't scratch the surface that you're going to stick this thing to, which is good. I keep this up there right by the fridge with all my other little gadgets and stuff, my temperature probes and other things I have. So that works fantastic. And there's a flap here for the Type-C port to charge this unit. Should get about, I believe it's 30 hours of usage out of this before you're going to need to recharge something, so that's fabulous. Now, if you're a fan of ThermoPro, which makes the TempSpike Plus, you already have the app, but if not, there is a QR code in the instruction manual. Just scan that and it'll shoot you right over to the app that you're supposed to get. Completely free. Once you get logged in and set up, super simple to pick this thing up. You can specify whatever meat you want that you're cooking. It's got some pre-stuff in there. You can go in there manually and set all your points and parameters up for your ambient and your internal meat temp, and also it has a range so that your ambient doesn't get too low, too high, or anything like that. You'll get an alert for it, which all the alerts do work. I was able to play with it just to see if the alarms would go off, and they are very extremely audibly loud, which is good to get your attention, but there's a lot of details in that app that work. And what we decided to cook with for our first cook on this was a pork tenderloin. So I seasoned that thing up, put it out there, stuck it in down to the black tip, put it in there, put it on about 225, 250, something like that, and put my parameters in, cooked that for a few hours, smoked it, gave me all my alerts. I was able to maintain temperature. I mean, it was fantastic, especially for the price of this unit. You can't beat it. So we got it finished cooking it, pulled it out. I put the ThermoPro temperature probe that I have, external one, which I highly recommend as well. I'll leave a link to that and this. Checked it out to see if it matched the temperature probe, the wireless temperature probe here, and it was exactly spot on to what they said the internal temperature was whenever I checked the meat myself after pulling it out, which is fantastic news that this thing is calibrated exactly the way it needs to be right out of the box, which I don't know how you would deal with it otherwise, but it works. These are always fantastic for rotisseries, turkeys coming up, ham, whatever you got in the oven. As long as you don't exceed a super hot temp, you can use this thing basically for slow cooking. And they make a probe that's super fast with a large digital readout screen on it if you need something just to quick check your meat with. But this is meant for long cooks, but you can use it on anything. I've used it on hamburgers. I've used it on steaks. So you can use them on anything you want, and I highly recommend that you go pick this up. I will leave a link to this down in the YouTube description. This is hot off the press. This just came out. Highly recommend it. Always love these guys' products. Make sure to explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next product review I got coming out. See ya.